Let's get an update now on the volatile situation in the US city of Minneapolis. The senior Border Patrol commander, Greg Bovino, who has been at the centre of the Trump administration's aggressive immigration enforcement surge, has been pulled out of the area. America's Editor John Lyons joins us now from Washington. John, what can you tell us?
Well, Gemma, what's happened here? There's quite a change in tone and personnel by President Trump. 3 weeks ago, as we know, there was a 37-year-old woman, a mother of three, was shot dead by an ICE officer in the same city, in Minneapolis. Now, that created some backlash, but this one has now created more. Another 37-year-old has been shot dead by federal officers. This time it's an intensive care nurse. And I think what's different on this occasion, Gemma, is that it's united the left, the centre and the right. The left and the centre in America are upset because they say here are Americans killing Americans on American soil, and these are federal officers. And this man, you can see from the pictures, was actually shot in the back. He had a mobile phone in his hand, not a gun, as the authorities first tried to say. He did have a gun on him, a licensed gun, but he certainly wasn't pulling it to use it, and he was shot in the back. But also the right wing, some of the MAGA base of President Trump, are upset because one of the reasons given for shooting him was that he was carrying a gun. Now, of course, in this country, with the Second Amendment to the US Constitution, the right to bear arms is one of those things that's very much enshrined in both the Constitution and American culture. So it's upset a lot of people on the right. So President Trump, seeing these terrible pictures appearing all the time on nightly TV news bulletins, has tried to change it. So he's effectively sacked Greg Bovino, who was the Border Patrol commander there, seen as a hardliner, high profile, and he's sent in a long-time public servant, someone called Tom Homan, who has been around, in fact, since the days of President Obama. So he sent him in to try to calm things down, and he's immediately begun talking to the governor of the state and others as well to try to calm things down.
John, we've just heard from Donald Trump in Iowa. We'll play this before you respond to it, but sounding quite unapologetic. Let's go to that.
Remember, we secured the border. Crime is down all over the country. We just had a crime report coming out from, I think, one of the networks, which they hate to hear this, but crime is the lowest number ever recorded. So, you know, when they say, and you know, we talk about Minnesota, but in Minnesota, you probably read, their crime is way down. You know why? Because we took out thousands of criminals out of Minnesota, and that's why it's good. So anyway, but we have Tom Homan is over there. We all love Tom.
Yeah. Tom's
and
great.
He met with the governor, met with the mayor. He's going to meet with the mayor, I guess, and it's going very well. But remember this, even Minnesota, their crime is down. And you know why it's down? Because of what we did.
So, John, Tom Homan has been one of the most unapologetic boosters of its deportations campaign. Could this be more of a messaging change than a strategy change?
Well, Gemma, I think it's important here to distinguish between the essential immigration policy, which remains popular with Americans, and the tactics being employed by these ICE agents, which are not popular. In fact, the majority of Americans, according to some polls, do not like these tactics at all. So President Trump is trying to separate the two. He ran for office on this signature policy of trying to find undocumented or illegal immigrants in America. Over the years, many have come in, and his whole policy is to try to track them down and deport them. Now, that's one thing. Americans generally support that. They believe that they're taking their jobs and they should be here legitimately. However, the scenes that we've seen in Minneapolis, the confrontations in the street, sometimes it looks like it could be Gaza or the Middle East, of the tear gas, the people running. Now, 2 American citizens shot dead in the last 3 weeks, and both have been personified, both have been, people have got to know their names, and I think now there's a backlash, and I think President Trump, being a very shrewd politician, has picked up on those nuances and changes. That's why he's got rid of the Greg Bovino, put in Tom Homan, and he says there will be an investigation into this one, which there wasn't into the one 3 weeks ago by the White House.